Hello viewers, welcome to Ekam Academy. So today we are going to discuss about an important Supreme Court verdict given today. That is, Supreme Court has made electoral bond scheme as unconstitutional and it has nullified the scheme. So we'll understand what is the background of this case, why the electoral bonds were issued, and what are the changes that were made through electoral bond scheme, and what is the controversy surrounding the issuance of electoral bonds, and what did the Supreme Court have remarked about the electoral bond scheme, why this was nullified and made unconstitutional. All these are the things which we are going to study as part of this video. In India, India is a democratic country, and elections are free and fair elections, and periodic elections are the very important pillar of any democratic country. The same way, in India also elections are held in free and fair manner in periodic phase. But what happens is, without one thing, elections cannot be run. That is what the situation that is prevailing in the country, that is money. So money is ruling the elections, and without money, no one can win in the elections. That is what the situation we are experiencing in the recent times. So money has become the critical component for elections. So election, money means it is through political donations and political funding the elections are being run. So political parties are getting funding from different companies, individuals, and also even some other organizations established in the territory of India. Even foreign contributions are also allowed under this electoral bond scheme. So why this, if this is contributing to the electoral democracy, then what is the reason why Supreme Court has made it constitutional? It is interesting to know. That is what we are going to discuss as part of this video. Stay tuned. So here you can see we are going to discuss about electoral bonds, why it is in news, what are electoral bonds, what are the features, why they were introduced, and when they were introduced, and what are the changes they've made. Okay, some acts got amended when this electoral bonds was introduced, and how they will be sold in the market, and what are the issues associated, and why they attracted criticism, and what is the Supreme Court's verdict today. Okay, so this will form part of GS2 governance under UPSC CSE mains. And today Supreme Court said anonymous electoral bonds will violate the right to information under Article 19. So because of this ground, that Article 19, under which you have 19(1)(a), which is giving you freedom of speech and expression. So under this, Supreme Court has said Right to Information Act, RTI, is implicitly there in the freedom of speech and expression itself. Freedom of speech and expression. This is implicitly there. That is what opined by the Supreme Court of India. So if you have remembered, we have RTI Act also passed, through which we have some statutory bodies like Central Information Commission, State Information Commissions also got established under this. So what did the Supreme Court say? It said, in case of anonymity, because under electoral bond scheme, we are going to discuss this feature also. One major criticism that is there, that is donors' secrecy or privacy is there. That means who have contributed this political funding to the political parties, their identity is not getting revealed. Because of this reason, electoral bond scheme as a whole attracted huge criticism. So Supreme Court said, in case of donor privacy or secrecy is maintained, that is nothing but it is violating the constitutional fundamental right to know information. That is, when any person who is voting in for a political party, he has the right to know from where that political party is receiving the funding, and how much funding is received, and how they're spending that funding. All these are the things implicitly there under that right to know, which is there for the person who is voting for that political party. So that is the fundamental right. So as this is violating fundamental right, this is declared null and void or unconstitutional by the Supreme Court. And also Supreme Court said, so Supreme Court has asked and directed SBI, State Bank of India, not to issue in electoral bonds anymore in the future. So this is what another instruction given by Supreme Court to SBI. And also they said financial contributions to the political parties is like a quid pro quo. That is what the Supreme Court has made a statement. What is the meaning of the word quid pro quo? Quid pro quo means they wanted to like what you can say, gain for gain or advantage, like mutual gain, you can say. If I give contributions to your party, what will be the benefit you give to me? That is what actually opined by the Supreme Court. This is, if you're maintaining the secrecy and if you're not being transparent in political funding, then this is nothing but quid pro quo. Okay, that means you are giving something before elections and I'm receiving the benefit after elections. That is what happening. That is what Supreme Court has opined in this particular issue. Now we'll see what is the issue, what is the concept of electoral bonds. This is a financial instrument, a bond. Bond means okay. So bond is nothing but you will issue, it is a financial instrument. You will be buying this bond at a certain face value. for designated purpose. So here this is a financial instrument for making donations to political parties. You know, in India when we have to choose, okay, so we may have some political affiliations also, to which party you like or to which party you get connected, to that party you can contribute some financial terms, okay. So you can contribute how much ever you want. But previously, if you have remembered, previous to this electoral bonds, any amount below 20,000, okay, so that need not to be disclosed, and you know, above 20,000 amount only has to be disclosed to the election commission. That means political parties, if they receive any amount greater than 20,000, they have to inform that to the Election Commission of India. But because of this you can say provision, what happened is most of the political parties used to receive their denominations of 19,999. So in this way, if they receive many multiples of this denomination, then they can easily breach this provision, or they can easily override the provision which is mandatory reporting of Election Commission of India in terms of political funding. So this, whatever the scheme, this electoral bonds is there, that was introduced to mainly target this provision. They said we wanted to bring transparency in political funding. Previously, there is no means in any way you can receive political funding before this electoral bond scheme. That means in cash you can receive. So in cash, if it is received, you don't have any source traceability and all. So but now with the electoral bond scheme, when this was introduced in 2017, Government of India said we are introducing digital means whatever the contributions now given as part of this electoral bonding, that is done through banking. SBI is authorized to take care about this. So it is done through the system of banking. That means clean money only will enter. That means all this black money which used to previously dominate the political funding, that is now wiped out. That is what the Government of India said. But they said instead of 20,000, now they started issuing denominations of 1,000 only. Okay, so above 2,000, whatever the amount is received, that can be through this electoral bond scheme. In this way, they have made some changes. But the same scheme also, which they said that is transparent, and they wanted only clean money or white money to enter into political funding, the same thing has opened gateway for black money also. How means, again, donor secrecy is maintained, or the person who have donated is not, the identity of that person is not revealed to the public or even the voter to whom the political party for whom the political party is voted. Okay, so on these reasons, this electoral bond scheme was criticized by the Supreme Court. Now, in what denominations it can be issued means 1,000, 10,000, like this maximum you can issue up to 1 crore in many multiples. Okay, how there is no restriction on the maximum limit. Any multiples of these denominations you can give according to your capacity. Then who can give means not only one individual, but any company, corporation established outside the territory of India also can contribute. That is why this act also made some changes to Foreign Contribution Regulation Act of 2010 FCRA. So we'll see that also. Then who can issue? SBI Delhi authorized branches only. Okay, so SBI bank in SBI authorized branches in different parts of the country, those are only authorized to issue this particular electoral bonds. From there we can buy. So when you can buy means 15 days period will be there. Okay, so in every 4 months, like there will be designated months like January, April, October, like this, there are designated months. So at that point of time, for 15-day window period, these bonds will be open. So at that time you can visit any of the designated SBI branch and you can buy this bond from there. Then these bonds are redeemable. That means after you buy, after that 15-day window period, every political party, they can encash how much is the bond value for that party they have donated. So in this way it is redeemed. That means only registered political parties can receive the benefits from this scheme. We'll discuss this also in detail now. Who can purchase? I told you, anyone can purchase. It can be citizen of India or in any organization incorporated or established in India. Then purchasing window, 10 days it will be open, maximum in the months of January, April, July and October. So donor's name is not mentioned. That is what the main issue is with this electoral bonds. Then what is the objective? They said we wanted to bring transparency in the electoral funding. But how they wanted to ensure transparency means, previously as I told you, anonymous donations used to be there. Even today, even with this scheme also, there are anonymous donations only. But what happens is, here they said like if now as the money is entering through banking system, there will be more clean money that is coming through the political funding, but it reduced the amount of money from political party. Previously 20,000 above, if they get, they have to report to the election commission, but now above 2,000 money they have to report to the election commission of India. Then second thing is, it was also announced that they wanted to make funding more transparent because this is coming through the banking system. And third is, these bonds were introduced in 2018 only. Officially it started from 2018, but this electoral bond scheme made some changes to the following acts. You can see Income Tax Act 1961. Why? Means, whatever the donation that is given under this electoral bond scheme is getting exemption under IT Act. Means you need not to pay income tax on that amount. That is why this is also one reason why it has attracted criticism. Then huge denominations of 1 crore, if it is sent, they can bypass this income tax paying and all by giving the political parties this funding. Then Companies Act, as I told you, not only individuals but companies also incorporated or established in India, they also can contribute. That is why Companies Act 2013 also got amended. Today Supreme Court also opined, so compared to the individuals, more companies will be contributing and they have the capability to contribute more in terms of political funding. This is also one thing which is not good, and it is like clear violation of Article 14. That is what Supreme Court opined today. Then Foreign Contribution Regulation Act, as I told you, foreigners also, they are allowed to contribute to the political parties through this electoral bond purchase. So by this way, this Foreign Contribution Regulation Act 2010 was also coming into picture, and even NGOs also can contribute. Then Representation of Peoples Act 1951. As I told you, only registered parties. Okay, so you have to know the difference between registered and registered party means which got registered with Election Commission of India. But sometimes we'll have registered and recognized parties. Recognized means they were recognized after their poll performance, means they have that criteria met, what is set for national party, state party, the criteria set by Election Commission of India, right? Those criteria are already met. That is why they consider them as registered and recognized party. But some parties may be registered, but they may not fight elections after the registration, or even if they fight elections also, they may not met the criteria that is designated by Election Commission of India. At that time, they are considered as registered but unrecognized political parties. Okay, this is what. So these parties are not entitled to electoral bond scheme. Only registered parties, okay, under this Representation of Peoples Act 1951, those only can entitled to get the benefits from electoral bond scheme. Then what are the issues? Main thing is donors anonymity, means the name of the donor, okay, who is contributing how much to that political party, to which party that person have contributed, all this is not revealed. That is the main drawback. And channel of black money, as we have discussed, okay. So previously 20,000 above they have to report, but now 2,000 they have decreased the amount, but still as the donors anonymity is not revealed, okay, and it is given IT exemption and all. So these are the things which are attracting the criticism. That is why again this is also considered as a channel of black money itself. Then why there is so much of criticism attracted? Here you can see it is contradicting with its basic idea of bringing transparency. They said as the money is coming through the banking system, it is clean, but itself when you are not allowing the donor's identity to be revealed, then it is a clear violation of right to transparency. You can say even accountability is also missing. Right to know, right to information act, okay. So when this is getting compromised, transparency automatically will be the main thing which is getting impacted. So under RTA, right to information, transparency and accountability are the main two things which we receive, right? And possibility of extortion, means money can be misused also. And crony capitalism is also one another thing. Crony capitalism, okay, that we have discussed here. Crony capitalism means the political parties will get funding from the business entities. Later on, the political parties will favor, or it will help the business groups for which they have received this funding, from which they have received funding. In this way, it is a mutual gain, you can say. Political party, before elections, they'll receive funding from the businesses, here funding. Later, after elections, they'll do the benefits, required benefits, like in establishing the businesses or getting clearances or getting more tax exemptions or something, okay. So in this way, it is leading to crony capitalism. Then a blow to democracy. Blow to democracy because democratic country means where their people will be electing their representatives either directly or indirectly. But in case here also, as we are electing our representatives, but those representatives, if they don't reveal from where they're getting that money, that is nothing but a violation of democratic principle. That is what even Supreme Court has said. And it is also a clear violation of this principle, free and fair election, which is one of the basic structure of Indian constitution. Okay, so if you have remembered in Indira Gandhi's case also, Supreme Court has opined that free and fair elections are one of the basic structure of Indian constitution. So compromising the right to know, based on this particular article and this particular criticism only, main verdict was given today in 5 judge bench. Okay, so led by Chief Justice of India, they unanimously has given the verdict that this is clear violation of right to know. Even not only 19(1)(a), but also Article 14 is getting violated. That means if you are allowing, there is no maximum limit, as I told you in the beginning, that a political party can receive. So if you are allowing flooding of this political funding, then it is clear violation of Article 14. Okay, so most of the big parties will get huge money. That is violation of this Article 14. So these are the things which Supreme Court has clearly mentioned in its verdict today. Then what is the way forward? The need for effective regulation of political financing. Okay, all the time, because if there is no regulation on political funding, okay, then we cannot ensure that it is free election not only, but fair election also is one main thing which has to be ensured. So Election Commission of India has to strengthen these things, right? And Supreme Court also, in protecting this particular principle of free and fair election, it has given its clear verdict today. Then yesterday's practice question, you can see, which of the following is not a member of Gulf Cooperation Council? Iran, Oman, Saudi Arabia and Kuwait. Yesterday I told you Gulf Cooperation Council is a grouping of 6 countries in Western Asian region, and Iran is not a member. Oman, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait. So answer for this question is Iran. Out of 4 countries, Iran is not a member of Gulf Cooperation Council. All the other 3 are members of Gulf Cooperation Council. Then time for practice question, you can see, consider the following statements with respect to electoral bonds. Electoral bonds can be given to a registered political party which is either a national party or a state party. Although called a bond, the banking instrument resembling promissory notes will not carry any interest. Okay, these are interest-free bonds or not, you have to answer. Select the correct option among the given options. Okay, you have to choose the answer. Then mains question, critically examine the effectiveness of electoral bonds in making Indian elections more transparent. This is what the mains question for today. So as we have come to the end of the discussion, today we have discussed about Supreme Court's verdict on electoral bonds. It was nullified by Supreme Court on the grounds of anonymity, okay, or it is a clear violation of right to information under 19(1)(a) of Indian Constitution. And also we have seen what is the feature of electoral bonds, what are the changes that were made, and why this attracted a lot of criticism, and what is the reason why Supreme Court has nullified this scheme of electoral funding. So all these are the things which we have discussed as part of this video. I hope you found this video useful. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.